How are the cats?
Potato didn't want to go upstairs because she knew I was going to trick her.
And put
She
her
likes
upstairs.
being down here when we're filming.
She's a podcaster.
Yeah, but she likes all the attention, so she yowls off camera.
She's got a lot to say.
She does. Aleece, what do you think about taking a bath in a lake?
How do you gut someone? Always trust my gut.
Hello and welcome to Got It. I'm Aleece.
And I'm Tony, and we're here to spill our guts about horror films. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. If you are new to our podcast, be sure to throw us a like, subscribe, give us a rating, review, all that great stuff. We would very much appreciate it.
We would. It'd be wonderful. Thank you so much. For those of you who already have liked and subscribed and or rated, we appreciate it heartily.
Today we have another Guess the Ending episode for you, formerly known as a gut reaction.
Yeah.
Although it's been a while since we've called it gut reaction.
I still like mentioning it though, because I liked that title. It had gut in the title, but Guess the Ending's a lot more self-explanatory.
Right. And we changed it from gut reaction because we were not doing reaction videos where we watch something.
And I think we were disappointing the few viewers that actually wanted to see us reacting to a movie in lifetime, which...
Yes. Sorry, all the tens of viewers who were disappointed by that.
We're not interesting while we watch movies. It looks like this. If you're watching on YouTube, then you saw. But if you're listening, it's a blank stare with micro movements. Anyway, what are your thoughts on bathing in a lake? Do you want to bathe in a lake?
Yeah.
Okay.
They did it a lot in the 70s.
I don't know if they did. We just see it in movies.
In movies that I've watched.
I've thought about this before, actually. And I always feel like the soap would be like harmful to the ecosystem in that lake. Like burn the fish's eyeballs. Probably not be very good for the plant life in the lake. I don't know. Maybe they're using natural soap.
So you think it's irresponsible?
Probably. But I mean, probably no worse than people pooping in the lake.
So you're saying you poop in the lake?
I have not personally pooped in a lake, but fish and other animals have pooped in lakes.
I feel like fish will just come along and eat it.
Eat the poop.
Fish are some gnarly creatures. I see them eating their own poop all the time.
Yeah, that's, part of their diet.
You're sounding truly like a marine biologist right now.
Do I? Don't patronize me.
Aleece, have you ever met a stranger and instantly hit it off as friends?
Okay, so I see this a lot in movies, especially horror movies, where the lead, mostly women, it's like the lead female is alone in the big city or somewhere, and she meets a friend, or so she thinks, who's like in line with her same way of thinking. Maybe they're both awkward and they're like, oh my gosh, I thought I was the only one like this. This happened in, I think, Rosemary's Baby. She meets somebody in her apartment complex. I think it also happens in The Omen. No, wait. It happens in several movies. So is it a 70s
movies. Thing?
Yeah, you meet somebody and you're like, wow, we're the same way of thinking. I think this happens in Annabelle. Women just hitting it off and becoming best friends. The best friend usually dies. So yeah, no, this has never happened to me. I never just hit it off with a stranger.
Yeah.
Never. I'm like, that looks nice. I want to do that. If anyone wants to meet me in a laundry room somewhere, public laundry room.
If anyone wants to meet us in a public laundry room, we will let you move into our house.
Probably not, but I will go to a book club with you. Yeah. Or a craft fair. That sounds fun.
I will let you fold my laundry.
No one's going to fold my laundry.
Including the unmentionables.
I have a very particular way of folding my laundry. And in fact, sometimes Tony will fold certain pieces and I'll have to kind of like adjust it. Not redo it completely, but just adjust it a little bit. Otherwise, it won't fit into the drawer that I need to put it in.
How do you know I'm not doing that on purpose?
Why would you do it on purpose? That's like a waste of your time. Like if you knew how to do it the way that
because I want it to appear to be folded, but I also don't want to actually fold it in that painstaking way because it's unnatural to me to fold clothes like that.
Then why don't you just not fold it?
Because I want it to appear to be folded.
Who are you trying to trick? You're like,
you.
Why are you trying to trick me and then tell me right now?
I'm trying to trick you into folding your own clothes.
Why don't you just tell me? Like, hey, I don't want to fold your clothes anymore.
Sometimes I just put them in a pile over by you.
like over near
Like,
me.
I don't know if you noticed, but I will fold my own clothes first because they're easier. And then I'll fold your clothes.
I fold your clothes first.
That's very nice of you.
I know.
I blame the system
What's the system?
because all of the wardrobe that I have is very easy to fold.
Not necessarily.
Whereas that chainmail that I have, that's pretty tough to fold.
Chainmail? No, I once had a job in retail and I learned how to air fold shirts perfectly.
And not using a folding board.
Don't use a folding board. I never did.
Never use a folding board.
I never used a folding board, but my managers thought I did. They're like, perfect, Aleece. I'm like, thank you. They're like, I could see that you used your folding board. I'm like, I didn't.
Welcome to Gutted Laundry Podcast, where we talk about folding our clothes.
Are you interested in seeing me fold a shirt? Because I can fold a shirt really well. Not to brag, but I'm a little bit proud of this.
You're going to have to pay extra for that.
That's on the Patreon. You can watch me folding laundry on our Patreon.
Ooh, great idea.
Before we get into our Guess the Ending episode, I want to do some indie shout-outs.
All right. Yes, we have been watching some indie horror movies, and we always like to support the indie horror community. We have both worked on indie horror projects, low budget features, low budget shorts in various capacities.
And so we know all the work and effort that every single person on each set puts into each project. So these are all labors of love in some aspect. And so we want to pay respect to those labors of love.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're fun to watch because they tend to be original ideas and stories that someone wants to put out there. And you tend to see some really scrappy filmmaking styles. You can feel the love behind these projects in most cases.
Will it be as polished as a larger budget summer blockbuster or something you might see at an AMC theater? No, definitely not.
Will it have the best special effects? Probably not. Can't afford it. But will they make do with what they have? Yes, they will. And those often lead to more creative decisions, which I love. We have 3 to talk about here. The first one I watched. Tony wasn't able to watch it. He was working, but it's called A Prelude to Fear. And I watched it earlier this July. It was recommended by the producer and one of the co-stars of the film, Jamie Langlands. He reached out to me and let me know that it is available to stream for free on Prime. With a subscription to Prime, Tony said that it's also available for free on Hoopla. But it is a low budget indie that says that it's inspired by true events or based off of true events, and it centers around a young cellist. That will come into play later on in this episode. A young cellist who wants to, I think, get an internship, or she's auditioning for an internship, and she ends up in a life and death situation. I really enjoyed the lead actress's performance as well as the performance of the lead detective. It has a great reveal, which I will not reveal myself. And it also has some very terrifying tidbits and factoids at the end in the credits about the amount of people that have gone missing in various countries of the world on a yearly basis. So give that one a watch.
We also recently watched a movie called Happy Ending, and this was referred to us by the maker of another indie movie that we reviewed on a previous episode, Vampire. So this is from writer-director Jennifer Wolfe, and I believe that they are based out of Portland area. This is the story of a couple who is sort of stagnant in their sex life, and they're looking for ways to sort of repair their relationship and spice things up a little bit. So they get a recommendation from another couple friend to go to a happy ending massage parlor to spice it up. To
spice it up. And once we get to that massage parlor, things really take a fun turn. I really enjoyed the lighting and the score and all of the characters of this film. They're really fun and they come together in a really neat way.
There is a bit of an unexpected twist in this movie,
which again, we will not reveal. You'll have to watch.
Can't give you the spoilers.
Can't give you the spoilers. Fun tidbit that I found out through my own research at the very end. The final song of the movie, I was like, "Ooh, I like this. What is this?" It's actually the the band of the lead actress in the movie, Alexandra Helgerson, and she's in her own band called Lex Helgerson Writes Again. I was like, oh, that's cool. Get to hear her song. It was a good song. I liked it. And for the film itself, I really enjoy this film. Again, we recommend that you check this out.
This one is only available to rent video on demand, Apple TV, Amazon Prime. I think it's $4. Check it out. Support indie filmmakers. It's a good thing to do.
Yeah, support indie filmmakers and original content. We love it. Finally, for our last indie shout out, we have A Halloween Feast starring Lynn Lowry, who we know and love from the movie Shivers. It is so much fun. And Lynn Lowry, she really brings her A game and her expertise and her experience in this role. And you can tell that she and the rest of the actors are having so much fun with this.
Sort of like a dark horror comedy. It's got a lot of gore. Think like maybe Serial Mom. What else would you compare it to?
Meets Moira and Schitt's Creek, meets just Lynn Lowry's own fun spin on this character. And the director, he's also one of the co-stars in the film. He reached out to us and asked us to watch his film, and we did. We loved it. A Halloween Feast is available for streaming on
Tubi.
And if you want to see more detailed reviews on any of these films, you can check us out at our Letterboxd at Gutted Horror, just Gutted Horror on Letterboxd, and we have more detailed reviews there.
All right, let's go ahead and get into our episode. Let's scare Jessica to death.
I'm calling on all the spirits of everyone who's ever died in this house. Jessica. I'm calling on all the spirits of everyone who's ever died in this house. Jessica.
Paramount Pictures presents Let's Scare Jessica to Death.
From 1971, directed by John D. Hancock and written by John D. Hancock, Lee Kalsheim, and Sheridan Lee Fanu. This film stars Zora Lampert, Barton Heyman, and Kevin O'Connor.
This is an episode in 4 acts. We will recap the first half of the film that we have just seen. Then we'll go over 5 predictions each of what we think might happen in the second half. And then after those predictions, we are going to watch the second half and return with our prediction results and conclude with our coveted Golden Gut Awards ceremony.
If you have not seen Let's Scare Jessica to Death, it is available for free on Hoopla, or you can rent it on Apple TV and Amazon and YouTube. Watch about 44 minutes if you want to play along, and then press pause and come up with some of your own predictions. And then see if you were right or horribly wrong along with us.
Yes, and shout out to Hoopla for being like, I don't think I've heard of the app Hoopla that much.
I haven't either. And all of a sudden, I've heard it twice in this episode, or 3 times.
Hoopla coming out with all that content. All right.
Hoopla coming out. Okay. Tony, so Let's Scare Jessica to Death. What were some of your initial expectations for this film, or things that you have heard? If you've heard anything spoilery, don't tell me.
Okay, I should start with, I did see something spoilery a little bit about this movie and maybe in its theme. And when we were watching the first half, I was wondering, or was like hoping that it would reveal itself so that it would be all good. And I don't know if it quite did, but I have a feeling that maybe it did. My initial expectations for this movie was that it's one of those 70s horror gems that, especially like our generation, might have like flown under the radar. So
like
I'm thinking
Burnt Offerings.
Like Burnt Offerings, like Alice, Sweet Alice, like movies in sort of that realm. Those are some really good horror films. And I had heard that this one was pretty good as well.
This was one that had been on my radar for a little while. And again, it was one that was like, okay, that could be a good one for I guess the ending.
I'm really glad that we are finally able to watch this.
Yeah.
I have been excited to watch this. I've been wanting to cover this one actually for quite some time as well.
We actually did put out a little questionnaire, I think a year ago now. And we're like, which one should we do next on our next Guess the Ending? And this was one of the options. And it got like 1 vote. And we're like, oh man, I guess we can't do that.
Well, 1 out of 2 votes. So.
No, it was like 1 out of 4. Spree actually got 2 votes.
Ooh, and I'm so glad that we covered that one.
We didn't cover that one.
But we watched it.
We watched it and it was so much fun. It was one of those, we watched half of it and we're like, should we film or just finish it? And we're
Wait, didn't it tie with another movie?
Oh, maybe it was Colobos.
Yeah, Colobos.
Okay, so Spree tied with Colobos for 2 votes. spree.
Do you remember go back and watch our episode on colobus?
It's colobus. But
very shocking
I
pronunciation.
vehemently argue that it's actually colobos.
Colobus,
I
according
think
to
it's
the movie.
colobos. But yes, Spree and Colobus both got 2 votes, and Let's Scare Jessica to Death only got 1, so we couldn't cover it. But now we're just going to do it for ourselves.
Which is the perfect opportunity if you like this content and you like what we're doing here. Give us some suggestions. We will cover that movie.
We will. We love suggestions. And we did cover Colobus. So for those 2 of you that voted for it, there you go.
All right. Let's Scare Jessica to Death. Aleece, what's going on in the first half of this film?
This is your spoiler for just the first 44 minutes of the film. So if you haven't seen it, watch it on Hoopla. If you don't care about spoilers, listen away. We open on a lake with a woman and her back is turned to us, and she is in like a little rowboat, and we hear her voiceover, her inner dialogue, and she's recounting some event that happened to her in the past. Was it a dream or a nightmare? Was it madness or sanity? Who knows? And we get the feeling that this is our central character, Jessica, and then we flash back to her feeling young and effervescent, and she jumps out of her car and runs into a graveyard.
No, not her car, her hearse.
She jumps out of her hearse, driven by her boyfriend Duncan and her friend Woody. She's like, hold on, I'll be right back. And she leaps out, runs into the cemetery all happy, and she's going to do these tombstone rubbings. She's very, very excited, smiling as she's doing it. And she sees a figure in the cemetery, a young girl in a little white nightgown. She like looks away for a second and looks back, and the person's gone. And we hear her inner dialogue, and she's like, don't tell them, they won't believe you. And we're like, oh no, poor Jessica. She's seeing things. And already she knows that the men in her life are not going to believe her. They think she's quote unquote crazy.
What is it with these sort of ghost entities or just like creepy people in general wearing white? You know, I don't think people wear white robes. It doesn't seem like a funeral attire.
It's not. It's like nightgown attire.
Yeah. Well, maybe in other cultures, because I'm thinking of like The Ring.
Sadako, yeah.
Sadako wears a white gown as well.
You're
in my
right.
memory. I mean, it's kind of like grimy and muddy and stuff, but
I do feel like in the olden times, I feel like people were buried in white linens.
Okay.
So I think maybe that's where it starts or stems from. But also I think the color white just kind of symbolizes being virginal or young and pure. And also it's kind of pale, like a ghost might be. If you saw an apparition, it makes you look more ethereal and less of the physical realm.
What if she's wearing like a ballroom dress or
Something green and vibrant.
pantsuit? Yeah.
With fuchsia buttons.
Maybe that's too real. She'd
Too
be like, you know
crazy.
what? Who are you? Excuse me, lady. But if she's wearing a white robe, you're like, oh shit, that's a
She's
fucking ghost.
dead. Yeah. Or just sleepy, sleepwalking. Yeah.
She's wearing some Janko jeans and you're just like, hey, what's up?
What's up? You look like not from this time.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So that girl disappears and she jumps back into her hearse. They take a ferry to the place that they're going to. And the ferryman's like, you're going to Bishop's house?
Bishop's Road.
Bishop's Road.
What's the deal with Bishop's Road?
And he looks so grave as he says this. He says, we'll be on the other side soon.
Oh, little double entendre.
Yeah, double meaning there, hey? Interesting. They get to town and they come across this gang of old dudes who are looking at them all surly like dumb hippies in their hearse. So disrespectful.
Good riddance, yeah. These
Good.
guys do not take kindly to outsiders.
No outsiders allowed.
And I totally forgot the part that they took a ferry to get there. So they're sort of trapped on.
They are kind of trapped, yeah.
It's
They're
isolated, it's secluded, it's an
Yeah.
old house. All of the makings of
a great horror film.
something's gonna happen. Something's gonna go down.
Spooky horror times.
Even that opening shot of who we assume is Jessica, although my memory, even though I just watched this like not too long ago, she had long hair, but did she have short hair?
I thought she had short hair.
Yeah, so maybe I was just mistaken because, like when you're watching the opening sequence of a film, it's sort of like setting stuff up. You almost like put it out of your memory once you start to get into it.
And
the little details, unless you like watch it multiple times, like
And we only watched this first half once. And in my memory, the opening shot of her in the rowboat is very dreamlike and almost sun-drenched. Like the sun's going down and she's kind of backlit. So you can't really tell the details that well. And her back is to us. But in my memory, she has short hair.
And were you expecting a Jason Voorhees popping out of the water?
I think I was like Friday the 13th. Jason's
so
in
actually
there.
it makes, I mean, this is made in 1971. I wonder if Friday the 13th was inspired because of what we will talk about a little bit later. But anyways.
You're right. This came first. Jason, step aside.
Jason was going to be Jessica originally.
That would have been cool. I would actually love, side note, I would love a masked slasher female, a female masked slasher, which we have yet to have in a franchise.
And for some reason, I always think that Leslie Vernon is a female masked slasher. Because of the name Leslie. But that shows my ignorance.
Exactly. And not to say that there have not been masked female slashers. They just haven't really been in a franchise as a standalone. We've seen The Strangers.
What about in Urban Legend? She wasn't masked, but she wore a cool parka.
She was...
Sorry for the spoiler.
Not to spoiler part 2, but I want the same character to... go
for a franchise.
For a franchise.
Gotcha.
Yeah. There have been plenty of one-off female slashers, masked female slashers, but they never last past that one movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can reboot Let's Scare Jessica to Death, assuming that Jessica survives because we don't actually know. We haven't seen the second half.
And make her a slasher.
And make her into a slasher. Because I'm sure she's going to go through the ringer, newly released from some sort of institution.
They don't quite say it explicitly, but they do hint that she's been away for 6 months. We don't know where, but she does make these little underhand comments like, oh, I'm the one that's nuts.
Yeah, I'm seeing things. I can't tell other people. They're not going to believe me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think of this inner dialogue that we get to hear?
I love the inner dialogue. Yeah. I think that it's really cool. I actually loved even though I can't remember exactly what she said, that opening monologue was a great way to set up the movie. Instantly got me hooked.
It did. Like her little, was it dreams or nightmares? Was it madness or sanity?
Yeah. And all of the inner dialogues also acting as like these connections to spirits or maybe like ghosts, like whispering at her. It's very chilling.
It is very chilling. And I also think the inner dialogue placed against our lead actress's face when we are hearing the dialogue, she's always smiling. It's always a very tentative, uncertain, or almost childish smile.
Yeah.
And it's almost like she has affected this smile for the benefit of those around her. So they can see like, oh, she's happy. She's okay. Don't worry. She's fine.
Yeah.
So she's learned to just have this kind of subtle fake smile plastered on her face at all times. And she does have it on her face at all times, even when she's by herself. And so I'm sure to an extent she does feel happiness when she's doing these things on her own, but she's learned to just keep that smile wherever she goes so that no one suspects that she has these visions or that she might be what they perceive as crazy. They show up at Bishop House, and it's this grand house with, foggy atmosphere looming around it.
Okay, so Jessica is with 2 other dudes. One is her husband,
I think her
Duncan.
boyfriend. They are married. She has a wedding ring.
Yeah,
right.
so one is with Duncan, her husband, and he's like a balding musician,
bring that up?
cellist. Sorry.
He's a regular dude, and he's a
dude.
cellist.
He likes to drive around in hearses. Actually, I don't know if that's theirs or not.
Who knows? It might be Woody's.
Yeah,
their
he
friend.
has spent his entire savings on this house. We know in horror movies that always goes well because now you're stuck. You can't leave. You're stuck with it. It's just like the Amityville horror.
All your money is tied up into this money pit. And they get out of their hearse, and Jessica walks up to one of the doors, and she sees a rocking chair and a figure rocking in it, and she kind of stays still and doesn't move. And she's trying to surmise if this is a real person in the rocking chair or an apparition or in her mind. Then the person disappears. She walks into the house, and they all see feet at the top of the stairs.
Yeah, and the other guys see it too. So she's also with their friend Woody. He's like has more of a hippie vibe, and he's got the big 70s stash and all that.
Mutton chops. And
Yeah.
But what I love in this scene is that the feet pass by the frame really fast, and Jessica just kind of like almost flinches, and Duncan looks at her and reassures her and says, "Don't worry, I saw it too." And Jessica lets out this relieved laughter, and Duncan's scared because like there's a figure in this house, so he grabs one of the fireplace pokers or something, and Jessica's just laughing because finally she didn't see something that she made up in her head.
Is it a ghost? Is it some spirit? Nope, it's just a squatter named Emily. And she happens to be the world's nicest squatter.
So nice. She's like, "Don't worry, I'll get out of here."
She's like, I figured I'm going to start packing up. I'm going to get out of here.
She's like, "I'll go to town." And Jessica's like, "Wait, it's miles to town. Why don't you just stay here for dinner?" And Emily's like, "Oh, no, that's okay." And she's kind of whimsical and looks off in the distance, not really making eye contact. And they're both like Jessica and Emily both have this kind of social awkwardness that matches one another's. And it makes sense that they really hit it off.
Yeah, check it out. I'm going to pull out my lute and I'm going to start playing some songs at dinner. And then your husband's going to pull out his cello and ooh.
There's a connection. He makes eyes at Emily, the lutist, and Woody makes eyes at Emily, the lutist. And even Jessica is like, she's cool. But she also notices her husband looking at Emily. Jessica doesn't let her smile fade though from her face.
Yeah, so we have some love triangles forming here, some scandalous stuff. But, you know, Emily, she's cool, so they let her stay in a scene that's shortly thereafter.
Tony's
they are
favorite scene.
Taking a bath in the lake.
Soap and everything.
They're clothed.
They have bathing suits on.
Yeah, they're soaping up. They're lathering up. I'm guessing none of the utilities work in this old house.
That's a good point. I was like, why did they bring soap to the lake? But you're right. Maybe they don't have the hot water on yet.
It seems like they're camping. They're roughing it in this house.
You're right. And during dinner, I think that was by candlelight.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't put that together. I was like, why are they just bathing in the lake?
They just got there. They didn't have time to call PG&E.
This makes sense.
They didn't set up the water.
Okay, so this was like a necessary, after a long travel day, they had to take a shower the next day or a bath the next day in the lake. And Emily's like, "Do my back, Duncan." And Duncan does. And she's like softly moaning as he's rubbing her neck way too sensuously. Jessica sees and like takes notice, but doesn't actually like really say anything.
After they wash up, they continue to swim because what else is there to do out here? And they're swimming out, and Jessica's like, I'm going to go for a little swim. Anyone want to join me? They're like, "No, we're good." And
by that point, Emily leaves to go make dinner. And so it's just Duncan and Woody. And then Jessica swims off into the middle of the lake.
And she finds a body under the lake.
She sees a body under the lake and she screams. Woody and Duncan come to her rescue and she says something really strange. She doesn't say there's a girl in the lake. She says there's something down there like a shark. And I was like, "You're lying. You didn't see a shark, but why would you come up with shark as your lie? Why wouldn't you say like seaweed?"
She's trying to make it more believable. She knows that no one's going to believe like, "Hey, there's a dead body under there."
This is like a lake, right? Like, why would there be a shark there? She should have said like there's a fish, a big fish, or seaweed got my toe.
Or a dead girl.
I mean, can't say dead girl. It's going to raise some eyebrows
Maybe
too.
they would take it more seriously.
They did not take her seriously when she said shark, though. So she might as well have said dead body. Jessica.
Yeah, because then Woody goes out and he's like, "There's nothing out here. Check it out." And just like swims around.
Yeah.
Like, "Okay, buddy."
Yeah. Way to gaslight her.
She's gaslighting herself.
I know, but still a way to invalidate her fears.
Maybe it's more of a larger societal pressure.
She's been convinced, I'm thinking, by several male role models or figures in her life that she is crazy. And so she's trying to not negate them and convince herself that she's crazy.
We find out that Duncan spent his fortune on this house and they don't have any money. So they need to scrap together some antiques or just things that are left behind in the house to sell it so they can get food.
Yeah.
So these people are house poor.
Their house, they have a really nice house. They're very, very giving. They, let Emily, the squatter, just continue to squat.
She's cool.
She's cool, but they could have like asked for, I mean, she probably doesn't have the means to pay rent, right? If she's
Nobody does. They're
does.
scrapping antiques to get rent money and food money.
It's the 70s. Jessica goes to the attic to find some things that they can take to the antique store. And she finds this silver picture frame with an old black and white photo or an old sepia kind of photo from, I don't know, the 1800s or turn of the century. Maybe like 1890 or 1910. Who knows? And there's a figure in the picture that looks startlingly like our squatter Emily. And no one else seems to notice. And I was like, that's Emily, right?
Everyone in that town looks the same. It's, it's hard to tell because she has this like really bright red hair.
Yeah.
And the photo's in black and white.
It's in black and white. You can't tell the hair color.
Yeah.
But
Could
it's
be anyone.
obviously her. All right, just to rewind a little bit, before this scene, the night before, they had a seance.
Oh, that's right. We forgot the seance.
Yes. They're sitting around the fire after dinner or something. And Emily's like, let's have a seance. And everyone kind of looks at one another. And Jessica looks the most uneasy about it. But she doesn't want to say no to her guest. And she kind of smiles and says, oh, I don't know if I like that. And Emily's like, come on, it'll be fun. And of course, Duncan and Woody are on board because Emily's attractive. And they're like, yeah, Emily, let's do it. So they all hold hands. And Emily's like, spirits of the past, everyone who's ever died in this house. And I'm like, whoa, you're expecting that there's multiple people who have died in this house? They're just going to come forward and be like, what's up?
Yeah, this is not like a West Coast house that was
built in 1980.
Built in 1980. You get maybe one death in the house.
Yeah,
this is generations.
Generations of death here. And Emily knows it. And then she's like, hey, Jessica, you try it. And Jessica's like, okay, spirits of the past, come forward. Anyone who's died in this house. And she's looking across the walls and the camera pans across the walls and we hear kind of maybe voices or laughter. Is it in Jessica's head? Is it in her mind? We hear somebody say, oh, thank you for coming to the wedding of Abigail, blah, blah, blah. We hear the name Abigail. It sounds like a wedding toast.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. And Jessica, I love her performance in this scene. She's still smiling and her eyes well up with tears and she actually has to wipe away her tears. And she's just like, oh, wow, very sad. The two dudes are totally oblivious and they're like, oh, nothing, huh? And obviously Jessica had heard something because she's crying.
But she just doesn't want to admit it.
She doesn't admit it.
Do you think she believes herself or do you think she has some self-doubt?
She always has self-doubt, always. Anyone who's ever been labeled crazy will always have self-doubt. There will always be that slight thought that like, wait, is this part of my condition or am I actually seeing and hearing this?
Yeah.
Because they have been told repeatedly like, no, that's not true. Poor Jessica, she even says, oh, that's so sad. And Duncan and Woody don't hear that. They're like, oh, I guess it's nothing.
They're just looking at Emily.
But Emily's looking at Jessica and Emily knows that Jessica heard something. And we can see this in Emily's eyes. Like, yeah. Ooh, such a good scene.
And I definitely see that there's that sort of spiritual connection that Jessica has to others, the whispers. And I think that, I think I agree with you. And Emily realizes this and Emily might also be communicating to Jessica telepathically.
Yes.
You can sense that connection, although they don't really make it explicit. You can sense it.
And there are certain moments when we hear Jessica's inner dialogue and then we pan over to Emily's face and we hear some other whispers. And we're like, wait, was that Emily telepathically communicating with Jessica or just something else that Jessica heard?
We're not sure. We haven't gotten to that part of the movie yet.
Ooh, we're not sure. Is Jessica a medium or is it all completely fabricated in her mind?
Yeah.
Interesting. So, okay, fast forward. They're trying to gather some antiques and they go to the antique shop in town. The first one they get to has a gang of old dudes out in the front. And they're like, you can't come here. We don't like your kind.
They're weary of outsiders.
They're weary of outsiders. And it's so funny. It's like this gang of 5 or 6 old dudes and they actually start trying to bop him on the head. They scrape up his little hearse that says love. So sad.
But there's something off with these guys that Jessica notices.
Yeah.
They all have bandages that they're wearing. And I actually didn't notice it when we were watching.
I didn't either. It wasn't until Jessica said that I was like, what? They all had bandages?
Yeah. I almost wanted to rewind it, but we couldn't.
We had the timer on.
Timer going and there's a whole process. So yeah.
I know. So they go to an antique shop that's even further outside of town. Some guy named Sam owns it, and he's looking at all the things that Duncan and Jessica are trying to sell to him. And he's like, I don't know, maybe I'll give you like $150 for it. And Jessica really wants to keep this picture of
Emily
Well, we know it's Emily, but it's this picture of the trio, the older woman, the bishop guy, and the younger girl. And Sam goes, oh, the bishops. I don't know if I want this picture. There are some stories about the bishops.
What's the story about the bishops?
He tells us the story about Abigail Bishop. On Abigail Bishop's wedding day or something, Abigail Bishop drowned in the lake. And they never found her body. And he says something like a throwaway comment. He's like, oh no, some say she's a vampire. And then, yes. And then Duncan cuts him off and he's like, never mind, we're going to go. He quickly sells his stuff to Sam for $250 and then pieces out with Jessica and they go back to town. And Jessica kind of admonishes Duncan for cutting off Sam. She's like, don't do that anymore. I don't like that. That was very rude.
Yeah.
But that line did not skate by us. We heard the word vampire.
We heard bandages around their necks and we heard they might be a vampire. Oh, is that the twist here?
Interesting.
What's going on here?
And we just filmed our vampire episode. Okay, this is exciting here. Right before we had to press pause, we see Sam, our friendly antique dealer, in the lake in a little rowboat, and he's got his fishing lure. You call it a popper?
Yes, the technical term for that fishing lure is called a popper.
Cool.
A lure that floats on the top of surface of the water.
Oh, like pops up and down?
It like pops the water to attract the fish.
Oh, it pops the
Don't
water.
ask me how I know that.
He likes to fish.
Also, I 100% could be bullshitting and just wrong.
Tony was an avid fisher when he was in middle school, okay?
In middle school and high school, I was a big time fisher.
You made a fishing club.
Fishing person. I had my own club in high school.
Actually, side note, when we were first dating on the old days of AOL Instant Messenger, Tony's screen name was associated with, I don't know, a pike.
Yeah, my screen name was Pike WKA, which was my fishing club, which stands for West Coast Anglers, coast with a K.
So cool.
And Anglers also had a Z at the end.
That was really cool with a K.
That should already be assumed that Anglers had a Z at the end. So, we were a cool fishing club.
Yeah, cool guy. I think there are like 2 of you.
No, we had like 5.
5 people.
And we had a coach.
That's cool. Anyway, just want to say that Tony knows maybe what he's talking about. So back to Sam. He's fishing with his cool popper lure. And right before we press pause, underneath the little fishing lure, we see a body with very vibrant red hair slowly emerging from the depths, wearing a
like that
gossamer,
white robe,
that white nightgown.
robe.
We don't see the face. We just see this shock of red hair and the white alabaster hands and fingers slowly coming out of the water. And then
the music was building up, the tension was building, and then it was like, timer went off. We had to stop. And this always happens.
This always happens. Okay. So now we can get to our essay question that Tony has for me that I don't know about.
Aleece, is there anything else that you want to mention about what you liked or did not like about the first half of the movie?
I am loving as usual with these guests, the endings, I don't know how we keep getting so lucky, but I am really loving the first half of this film. It feels ahead of its time.
It does. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
The score is really nice. There's a combination of synth music and like a classical guitar. That's sort of like that 70s style, maybe the lute.
Yeah.
And also a piano that's playing over parts of it. And there's one moment in the movie that I thought was really cool, which was the music of the movie kind of ramped up in intensity as they're playing at dinner. When Duncan came in with his cello, he hit a really deep note as if it were one of those sort of like tension notes in a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like a doom.
It seemed like the music started off realistically enough and then slowly faded into almost like an underwater type feeling.
Yeah.
That we were like hearing it in an echo of Jessica's mind.
Yeah. And I do really also like that structure of like we can hear Jessica's inner thoughts. So we're there with Jessica as audience members trying to figure out like, okay, okay, what is this connection? That does she have a connection to spirits, or is it all in her head? So there's a lot of doubt for us as well. But I'm also enjoying the performances so far.
Jessica, played by, what's her name again? Zora Lampert. Oh my gosh, her performance feels ahead of its time. It's so naturalistic. And I do feel like acting styles do evolve with the decades. Everything that she's doing just seems very, almost like she's reacting in the moment. Sometimes the older films we feel like they are performing for a stage and not so much for film, but she seems like she's very aware that she's performing for film and she's not performing in like a stage like capacity. She's not projecting. She is producing a lot of lines almost to herself in like a whisper or in a mutter, to where if the camera happens to catch it, who cares? She's just doing it for herself, and that's what makes it seem so natural.
Yeah.
And I'm really loving her performance, and like you said, the score and all the tension that's building. I'm excited to press play.
I'm not sure what the name is of the actor playing Emily.
We didn't want to look it up.
She also has a very mesmerizing quality to her.
Almost like a wild-eyed quality.
Yeah, like there's something, you could tell like she's withholding a secret, but she's still very alluring, and
she has like a sneaky excitement to her.
Yeah, I think the dynamic amongst the four characters is working pretty well with Duncan, Woody, and they're both sort of attracted to Emily. Jessica is also intrigued by Emily and
Everyone's
maybe like
attracted to
connects
Emily.
with Emily in a certain way. So I'm wondering if this is going the vampire route, which I think it is.
We'll get to in our predictions.
Then is some of this Emily charming them in that way that vampires do?
Ooh,
you know, like
very alluring,
seducing their victims. That's one of the like vampire powers.
One of the lines that Emily had when she was talking to Woody and he was trying to kiss her and she shied away and she said, "What's your hurry? I'm not going anywhere." Or
There were a
something
lot
like
of
that.
great lines like that. Yeah.
And when she said that, the score was like, bung. And I was like, ooh, wait a minute. Let me be scared about
when they
that
asked
line.
like, how long have you been here? And she's like, I've been here for ages.
She said that?
Yeah. She
Oh.
said something like that. And then a bung. And
Bung.
it bumped that time. I kind of want to hear your predictions first, and then I'll give you my spoiler-y thing that I saw.
Oh, okay. Prediction 1. Picking up right where we left off, the lady in the lake attacks Sam, our antique dealer, and we'll see him later on with a bandage.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think we're going to see the face of the person that attacks him, but I think he is going to get attacked. Or maybe we'll see like him go like, ah, and it'll cut. And then later we'll see him with a bandage.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Solid.
And then number 2, Emily is Abigail Bishop.
Oh.
And is a vampire / succubus.
Does this have a connection to Abigail, as in like the ballerina vampire? Is there a famous Abigail in vampire lore?
In
I
the
always say
movie
lore.
Abigail, they were saying that Abigail is the daughter of Dracula. But I don't know if that's just for the modern movie.
Okay, so we have realized recently that vampires are a little bit of our
blind spot.
especially the classic stories.
We don't know. I mean, we've read Dracula. We've read Bram Stoker's Dracula, but it was a while ago.
I feel like if we have seen Dracula's daughter, it would probably be like really obvious. Like, oh, Abigail is the name of Dracula's daughter. We could
Yeah.
probably Google that right now. Who is
Nah.
Dracula's daughter? Her name's probably Abigail.
Probably Abigail.
And we know this because we watched Abigail, the ballerina vampire.
Yeah.
Who is literally Dracula's daughter.
She was. Not to spoil that movie, but I mean, you could probably guess. So yeah, my second prediction was that Emily is going to be revealed to be Abigail Bishop, and she's going to be either a vampire or a succubus. I can't quite decide which one I think she'll be. I just know she's going to be some sort of mythological creature that feeds on men.
So if she's a succubus, does that mean that there's another vampire around? Because don't the succubi usually like hang around like Dracula or something like that?
They do? I thought they were just their own things.
Oh, maybe they are. I don't know.
So I thought that succubi could be their own things. And it's only in those like, male-led vampire movies where they are the harem of Dracula. But I think succubi can be their own thing. And And I'm going to guess that she's either a vampire or a succubus because she can go out in the daylight with Woody and Duncan.
She can eat regular food.
She can
Okay,
eat
that
regular
actually
food.
begs the question then, what is the difference between a vampire and a succubus?
I don't know. And also, I think the rules of vampires change movie to movie. So maybe she is just a regular vampire that can go in sunlight.
The vampire rules are a little bit flexible. The common denominator is that they feed on human blood.
Yeah. And the reason why I'm leaning toward succubus is because I think she feeds primarily on men, because in town, I didn't see any women in town. I mostly saw old dudes wearing bandages. And then the one female we saw might have been an apparition in the cemetery or in the woods.
Okay.
But we do know that the dudes in town are very real. And I feel like Abigail Bishop / Emily is feeding on them and keeping them alive. And that's why they have bandages. That's my prediction for number 2. Number 3, the girl in the cemetery / woods is a ghost and one of Emily's previous victims.
Oh, okay.
So maybe in that sense, she sucked the life force from this previous girl, and that's how she's able to be a daywalker. Like she makes women ghosts and then makes men her slaves, basically.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what she wants with Jessica. Anyway, that's a later prediction. The girl in the cemetery is a ghost. Number 4, Woody and Duncan are going to be fed upon and become part of the old dude gang in town.
Their energy is just drained and they just become old.
I think they're going to become old.
Interesting. Okay.
I think it's kind of going to be one of those things where it's like, oh man, I feel so tired. Why I feel so tired all the time? And maybe their finger gets really old first.
And we realized that the old ragtag dudes used to be like little rascals.
Yeah, little rascals. And they're actually bullying Duncan because they're like, get out of here, save yourself.
They used to be like an outsiders gang and like a young Rob Lowe. And then
they're
they
like,
got fed upon.
cool
and now-
Patrick Swayze doing dance moves in the street.
Yeah.
Then boom.
Grumpy old men.
Now they met Abigail. Now they're old. And then my whopper, Jessica in the beginning is dead.
Whoa.
So
okay.
the Jessica that we see in the boat, that is Jessica as a ghost.
Whoa.
Retelling this story.
Oh, because, yeah. I mean, the title of the movie is Let's Scare Jessica to Death.
And they do.
So it's very literal.
Yeah. So I think Jessica in the boat in the beginning, that's her as a ghost. And she's remembering all these events that led to where she is today.
Yeah.
She's basically like that little ghost girl in the cemetery now.
Interesting. Okay. These are high quality predictions, which make me think that my predictions are going to be awful.
Well, let's hear them.
Oh, man.
That's it
I'm
for
embarrassed. Okay. Prediction number 1, Sam gets pulled underwater by the body that's there. It will be determined that it was a fishing accident and he's dead.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have him as coming back with bandages, but I like that prediction.
Thank you.
That seems to tie in with what we've already seen. Mine is just like he dies.
Yeah. I mean, that's very possible too.
And then Woody goes missing. They think that he left after being dissed by Emily because he was talking about how like he's just there to help them out and he's going to take off. He's not sure if he's going to stay or not. So it seemed like one of those setups where it's like, oh yeah, he went back to New York.
Yeah.
He's gone, but he's actually dead.
He's dead.
Prediction 3, Emily woos Duncan away from Jessica. And then Duncan dies.
So all the men are dying.
All the men are dead.
Yeah.
Death to all men. Prediction 4. This is where I kind of, oh man, what was I thinking? Anyways, Jessica has to release the body from the underwater grave to let her spirit free and break some sort of curse.
Jessica?
So my thought was, there's this trope or this common occurrence in a horror movie where it's like, if the body is buried in a place, the spirit is not at rest.
Yeah, they're restless. Yeah.
And I was thinking of the
Ring.
movie What Lies Beneath.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, okay, this is very similar to what we have watched right now. So
tell the story of my death and I will be avenged.
yeah, exactly. And we've seen this in some other movies as well. I think it's one of those types of movies where it's like, there is this body that's underwater and it is sort of like doomed. The spirit can't be free until it's released or found, and nobody's found the body ever. And then they're going to find the body. And then it's like, now you can float down the stairs and turn into Devon Sawa. Your spirit is free.
Yay.
Yay. Wouldn't that be fun? That would be amazing.
Yeah. Then we get another cameo, Devon Sawa.
Yes. Devon Sawa cameo in every movie.
Probably before he was born.
You heard it here first. My Whopper prediction number 5 is that, well, okay, before I make this prediction, I have to give my admission.
Okay.
So when we were researching vampire films,
Oh no.
it was, yeah.
Dang
I saw on a list of like, top 100 vampire films, and Let's Scare Jessica to Death was on there. So I knew that this was a vampire film.
Well, I'm glad you didn't tell me.
I didn't tell you, and also I tried to not let that affect my predictions.
Okay.
And I was hoping that it would reveal itself, and I think that it did enough.
It kind of did.
Yeah, because they alluded at it heavily in a way where it's like, okay, it seems like the bandit. Whenever there's a character with a bandage on their neck, it's a vampire film.
Yeah.
Okay, vampire or succubus, but I think it could still be the succubus thing. Could still be.
I think they're in the same family.
They're in the same family,
Yeah.
of these undead ghouls. They just have slightly different abilities. My Whopper is Emily's a vampire, although that's not a Whopper. I think that's just what it's going to be. It seems like it's fairly obvious, unless it's not, and we're totally wrong.
Woody's the vampire.
Yeah. I have a whole paragraph here, so just bear with
Okay.
me. Father Bishop was an outsider who came in and vamped the whole town. And then the town killed his daughter, Abigail, on her wedding day for revenge. That's why they don't take kindly to strangers.
Right.
And the wounds are from Emily, who has now turned the town into her army of people her minions who will do their bidding.
Her Renfields.
Her sister is underwater. So that other lady we saw in the picture, I think, is the one who's underwater.
Okay.
And I think that's Abigail, but I could be wrong.
So Emily, are you thinking that Emily is Abigail?
I'm thinking that Emily is Emily, and I'm thinking that the other person in the picture is Abigail.
So they're different people.
That's what I'm thinking. However, I'm not like super confident about that prediction.
Interesting.
Especially since they both have this like fiery red hair, but they're related. So that could also be.
So do you think Emily and Abigail are related at all?
Emily and Abigail are related. There were two ladies in that photograph.
I think the other lady was old.
I clearly did not look at that very closely. So I don't know. We'll have to see. It was an old photograph.
Yeah.
And I kind of looked at it, but I was also writing notes. So I could have been looking down when they showed the photograph.
What do you think is the deal with that little ghost girl in the cemetery?
I didn't really give too much thought to that other than I think that Jessica has this connection with spirits and she can see the other side. She's doing some Haley Joel Osment shit.
Yeah, she's like a
sees dead
medium. She
people.
doesn't even know it.
Yeah. So I think that she will have a connection to that dead girl that's in the lake. So maybe this is a movie where that has inspired other movies, because this is, I'm pretty sure this is a horror classic.
This is a horror classic.
Yeah, so maybe we are seeing the commonalities in other movies because they have probably been influenced by a movie like this. And so maybe that will support our predictions, but we don't know. We'll see. What do you think Let's Scare Jessica to Death represents? What do you think the title of this movie represents?
That title has always intrigued me, and that's the main reason I think why I initially wanted to watch this movie. That pronoun of let's, like let us scare Jessica to death. Like it's not like I'm gonna scare Jessica to death. It's not a one person venture. It's a multiple people activity. So I'm like, who's part of this? I feel like obviously Emily's part of this. Is it because Emily and Abigail are seemingly two different people, but they're really one? And they're like, hey, Emily, yeah, Abigail, let's go scare Jessica.
Like they're twins.
Abigail. I don't know. Or like a descendant sort of thing. But that let us aspect always intrigued me. Like, who are these multiple people that want to scare Jessica to death?
It's like, are they trying to scare Jessica to like keep her away? That sort of like, we're afraid of outsiders. Let's give them a good scare. Sounds a little...
then it'd be like, let's scare Jessica away.
Yeah.
But I think it's like they literally want to scare her to death. They literally want her to be a ghost girl.
They don't want to kill her. They want to scare her to death.
Yeah.
So it does sound very like prank or something that's like sinister or maybe targeted.
Let's scare her to death.
So what's the deal? Maybe it's like, you rubbed my gravestone. How dare you? I'm a
You
ghost.
rubbed me the wrong
I'm gonna
way.
now scare you to death. Yeah, you rubbed me the wrong way.
You rubbed me the wrong way, and I'm pissed.
Which is the tagline to Happy Endings.
Yes, it was. It was like, who are you going to rub the wrong way or something like that? Love puns. Love double entendres.
Exactly.
Cool.
All right. Well, this gives us a lot of questions going into the second half. I'm very excited. Are you excited?
I'm excited.
Let's scare ourselves to death.
Do you like my Emily cosplay?
I do. Yes. Aleece, you're looking very 70s.
Thank you. I tried. This is not like Emily cosplay, like, look for look. It's more like inspired by, because she has a red shirt on. And that's about it. That's all I could find.
I love it. I think you look great.
Thank you. All right. We will see you when we return.
And stay with me, my love. Stay forever, my love. We're together, my love.
He likes her.
We just watched the second half of Let's Scare Jessica to Death. When we left off, poor old Sam was on his fishing trip and he was about to get got.
Just fishing, minding his own business. And then up comes a body, and it's probably Emily / Abigail because it's a redhead. And then we cut back to nothing. So we don't know at that point.
And I'd like to make a correction. That was actually not a popper fishing lure, but it was a fishing lure that floats on the top of the water and wiggles. I don't know.
It's a wiggler.
Name. A wiggler.
Yeah. So all you fishermen out there that were screaming at the radio or the screen,
People are not listening to this on the radio.
they might be on the radio.
I guess maybe if they're in their cars.
Yeah. And they plug it into their radio. I listen on my radio.
Do you still call it a radio or do you call it a sound system?
I don't call it a sound system. I call it the radio. Oh my goodness. To the listeners, do you call your radio a sound system?
My system, So Sam gets got. That seemed pretty obvious, like that was about
We
to
don't
happen.
even know if he got got. They didn't show us if he got got because it cut away.
Later on, that girl in the white dress was leading Jessica over to his dead body.
The quote unquote ghost girl. Finally, Jessica sees her and the ghost girl like waves at Jessica. She's like, come with me.
But turns out she's not a ghost girl.
She's not a ghost. She has shoes. She's wearing shoes. Because as Jessica's chasing her through the weeds, I'm like, oh, ghost girl actually has tennis shoes on. She's probably not a ghost.
And she had a bandage, right?
She had a bandage wrapped around her neck.
She couldn't speak.
Right after Jessica found a mole / rat in the field, and Duncan took the mole inside, and Jessica was by herself. And that's when she saw Ghost Girl. She followed Ghost Girl to like a little waterfall, and that's where she sees the dead body of Sam. He's all bloody. Then she's like, oh my goodness. And she goes to go get help. She gets Duncan, she gets Woody, and the body's gone. That's when they see Ghost Girl again, and they're like, there. Duncan chases her down and grabs her. And of course, Ghost Girl can't talk. Duncan's like, did you see a dead body? And Ghost Girl's like, mm-mm. So of course, everyone thinks that Jessica made it up, and no one
And of
believes
course,
her.
Duncan, he's like bottling it up. And then when they go to bed that night, he's like, I have to tell you something. You have to go back to therapy. You have to go to New York so I can sleep with Emily while you're gone.
Because at dinner that night, Duncan is heavily flirting with Emily, and Emily's telling a dumb story about cake. And she's like, the cake's gonna get you. And Duncan is laughing like a fool. And Jessica's trying to be like, oh, haha, funny, kind of. And Woody looks kind of like uncomfortable. He's like, yeah, obviously Duncan's hitting on Emily right in front of his girlfriend. And
his wife.
You're right, they're married. Jessica's like, I'm going to go to bed. And Woody's like, I'm going to go to bed too. Duncan, take care of your wife. And Duncan's like, fine. So
He was not going to go to bed, by the way.
He was
looking
not.
for any excuse to get out of going to bed so that he could sleep with Emily.
have some more wine, have some more fun stories about cake, and then get with Emily.
So instead, he cooked up another brilliant idea saying, hey, Jessica, you need to go back to that institution where you came from in New York. And I'm so pissed we can't sleep together. Actually, that was Jessica's idea. But he jumped on. He's like, yeah, that's a great idea.
Oh, I'll go downstairs.
I'll go downstairs.
No. You take the bed.
Yeah, you stay up here.
Yeah, I'm going to be the
sleep with
gentleman
Emily.
here. Yeah. And this scene is actually one of my favorite scenes of the movie because I feel like it really showcases how great and subtle Zora Lampert's performance is. She's just like quietly crying, looking at the ceiling, and a tiny little tear sneaks out of the corner of her eye. She's just like, leave me. And her voice is kind of cracking and breaking, and she sounds like she's at her wit's end.
Yeah, because that's actually, if this guy can't handle it, then...
She's like, why don't you just leave? And he's like, no, I don't want to leave. But really, dude, it's like, get out of there. Like, if you're obviously not up for the task, you want to fix her or change her completely. You're not okay with who she is. And you're so embarrassed. And he grabs her at one point and she's like, no. And she's making a loud scene. And he's like, quiet, they'll hear you. She's like, I don't care, because she's had it. She's done trying to hide. She's done with her facade, her happy little playtime, putting the smile on for everybody.
Yeah.
And he can't help but just be extremely embarrassed by everything she does and says.
And who even knows if she has an issue? Maybe she's just told that she has an issue.
Exactly. He just wants her to have an issue so he can cast her off to the side.
Yeah. And her confidence is totally shot. She's not sure if she's making things up or if she is seeing things.
And
she's clearly seeing things.
She's clearly seeing and hearing things.
She's seeing reality. But I think that she has more of like a connection with spirits, like we were saying before.
Yeah, I think she's a medium, and she's been beaten down over time so much that she just has taken the back seat and let Duncan kind of be the voice of reason for her. And she's at the point where she doesn't care anymore. She doesn't care if it's reality or a dream. She doesn't care if it's madness or sanity. She is just done with constantly feeling this duality and this fight between trying to just do what's natural to her and trying to be what she thinks Duncan wants her to be.
And so what does Duncan do? He goes down and sleeps with Emily, goes downstairs.
This weak-willed man. So quick to get with Emily. She just comes sauntering out from the shadows and gets on top of him after probably killing the mole.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You mean the mouse.
Mole mouse. Mole rat.
They call it a mole. It's clearly not a mole.
Little mole mouse living its best little life. Probably not the best life. Living a life.
I don't think they poked any air holes for that.
I don't think they did.
So it was going to suffocate anyways.
Little mole. Okay, that's no reason to chop it with a butcher knife. It was sad. It made like one little squeak and it was like, me. And then done.
So sad.
Yeah. And obviously it was Emily's hand, but we never actually saw it was her. And the next morning, of course, Jess is devastated. She's like, oh my gosh, who would do this? I think whoever did this is the same person that killed Sam. And no one believes her. They're all just staring at her blankly like, you crazy person.
And then Duncan's like, I got to get out of here. I'm going to go into town and find a phone so I can call you a psychiatrist.
Oh my gosh. We get the POV of Jessica from the upstairs window, and she's peering down at the hearse and she sees Emily outside the hearse, and Emily bends down out of view into the window of the hearse, and we know that they smooched.
Did they smooch, or is that when she slices him?
You think that's when she sliced him?
Emily's out there Lady Gaga-ing people. So Lady Gaga, that's a term that Aleece and I use. It comes from American Horror Story, the hotel season, where Lady Gaga has a long fingernail and just kills people by like easily,
willy-nilly,
like swiping them with their finger.
One swipe of her long fingernail and they are sliced and dead. So we have coined this term, the Lady Gaga, very affectionately. We love Lady Gaga. Okay, so you think that's when she swiped him?
Could have been.
I think she bit him the night before.
Oh, when they're actually, yeah, that makes more sense.
That would have been prime opportunity. I don't know why she would forget to do it.
And she's like,
then.
"You're all right. You're a vampire now. I'm going to give you a little kiss.
So I'll give you a little
send
smooch.
you on your way."
Yeah.
Of course, Jessica's like all distraught at this point. She's just like, you know what? This sucks. I gotta, like, what's going on here? And she's like waiting around. And it's hours have passed and Duncan has not.
Oh, she goes up to the attic and she sees the picture, the silver picture frame of the bishops.
Yeah.
Which didn't they give that to Sam?
And it reappeared. Yeah.
It reappeared in the attic. And then Emily/Abigail comes out of the rafters. She's like, what's wrong, Jessica? And Jessica's looking so uneasy and
she's like, that's you in the picture.
Yeah. She's like, that looks so much like you. And Abigail/Emily's like, oh my gosh, it does.
She's like, no, it could be anyone. It's a bad old photo.
It's an old photo.
She's like, no, it's the eyes.
Yeah. She's like, it's the eyes. And Abigail's like, no, But also, I think
She's wearing the same outfit. She's like wearing the white
that's later.
dress. It's like, nope, ain't me.
Not me. Okay, if she came in wearing her wedding dress in this scene, then yes, it'd be no doubt. But she's still wearing, I think, her red shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she's like, come with me. Let's go to the lake. Get you some sun. You need some sunlight. And Jessica's like, okay, fine. So they saunter out to the lake. They're having this moment where Abigail is rubbing suntan lotion on Jessica's back.
In a very seducing way.
Very seductive way. Jessica's like, okay, that's good. That's good. And she keeps going. And then she does this thing that's so frightening. That was so frightening to me watching it. Her mouth opens wide. And I thought she was going to bite her, but she pushed her into the lake and then dunked her underwater and held her for a couple moments and was splashing around. And then Jessica got up and Abigail's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm just playing around.
She's like, get away from me. Get out of here.
Yeah.
No more.
But then Emily, as Abigail wearing the wedding dress, appears from the lake in full wedding garb.
Yeah, that is a pretty chilling moment.
It
That's
was very chilling.
We're getting the, like, you know, kind of going into the last act. Jessica's running back to the house. She's covered in mud and stuff.
The house is dark. She goes into her room. She barricades the door because it won't lock. It won't stay shut. And so she puts a big armoire in front of it. And then she crawls onto the bed, hugs a pillow, and she's hearing the voices. And it's Abigail / Emily saying, I'm in your blood. You want to die. You want to die. So scary. The spirit of Emily / Abigail is like in Jessica's head, trying to convince her that you want this. You want to die.
And she's like, you know what? I'm out of here. I got to get out of here. I'm going to go find Duncan.
Yeah. So Jessica, she pieces out. She runs out the door. It's still daylight. She finds a truck that's heading to town and he takes her to town. And she finds all the old dudes there. None of them are wearing their bandages anymore.
They all got slashes on their necks.
They all have gashes and slashes on their arms and their neck, their face. And she sees Sam, the antique shop dealer, and he's been gashed also in the neck.
Everyone's been gashed.
And she can't find Duncan. She screams. She runs off to the woods and passes out in the weeds somewhere. Woody goes to the house. He's like, where'd everyone go? And then out pops Emily Abigail. She's like, oh, she went to town to go find Duncan. Woody looks unnerved, but also intrigued because he obviously likes Emily Abigail.
She bites him.
It's nighttime now, and we cut back to Jessica sleeping in the woods, and we hear, Jessie. It's Duncan looking for her. He finds her and he takes her back to the house. They go up to the bed. He's trying to be like seductive. And he starts nuzzling her neck. I'm like, oh no, he's going to bite her. And then out comes Emily Abigail. And Emily Abigail takes the other side of Jessica's neck and tries to bite her on that side. And then all the old dudes from town come in and they're like, har, 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 har.
It's a good old fashioned blood orgy.
And they're all coming at her and she's like, no. And Jessica gets out of bed and pushes past them and runs out the door. And she finds the tractor. She's like, Woody. Of course, Woody's in the tractor and he's dead. Then she runs to the ferry and the ferry guy is there. He's like, sorry, the ferry's not running for you.
Also slashed.
And she's like, damn it. So she finds a rowboat. And we know this is our rowboat from the beginning. She hops in and she's manically trying to row, but it looks like she's not going anywhere. We see a hand creeping up from the water and it's about to get her. She grabs her poker or hook or something and bashes the body in the lake. And it's Duncan.
Yeah, but at that point, it's like, who cares? It wasn't shocking.
I did think that
I was actually
too.
just shocked that it wasn't Abigail.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be Abigail's hand. I also thought that multiple bodies would float up from the lake. And maybe there were multiple victims. Yeah, I thought that would have been cool.
That would have been
But then when
really
I
cool.
saw that it was Duncan, I was like, so
Who cares?
what? Yeah.
So he doesn't get to be a minion, dang it. Jessica doesn't really react, so I don't think she cares either. And she looks at the shore and she sees Abigail standing there in her wedding dress with all the old dude minions behind her.
Yeah, at this point, she's just defeated. She's done. She's
done.
tired. She's like, people keep trying to contact me through my head thoughts.
And she recites her monologue from the very beginning.
Hearing voices.
Yeah. She's like, dreams or nightmares, madness or insanity. I can't tell which is which.
And she says something like, I don't want to believe it, but I know I have to.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. Like the opening monologue and the closing monologue, Emily on the shore, she's just looking out all menacing. That was a pretty cool shot
That
too.
was. And then she just walks away like, who cares? No big deal.
And that's it.
And then the
that's what we
credits
do here.
roll to the side of Jessica in the rowboat, and Jessica just slumps down into the bottom of the rowboat until we don't see her anymore.
So a kind of an ambiguous ending.
Yeah.
And we were kind of talking about it after it ended. Like, we know that she got bit. So like, did she turn into one of these ghouls as well? Can she not escape the island? Is there something that's like cursing these people?
Yeah.
Like if you're bit or slashed, then you're like confined to this island. Was she imagining things?
That's why I felt like her rowboat didn't go anywhere, even though, yes, it does obviously look like Abigail and her minions are shot from afar. It still looked like Jessica was near the shore.
Stuck. Yeah, it totally did. That last shot for sure.
Like she'll never be free. And the way the ferryman said the ferry won't run for you.
Yeah.
She'll never be able to leave.
A pretty chilling ending and ambiguous, like we just said.
One minor thing, when Jessica was running out of the house, she ran past the cello case, and inside the cello case was the little ghost girl, or the little girl with mutism, and she was dead. She was slashed.
Yeah.
And I thought that was interesting. I'm just like, why? After all this time, who was she?
Yeah, when you think about some of those parts, they almost like didn't touch on certain elements and didn't really explain certain things.
There was so much that was so good, and I'm okay with things not being explained and things being ambiguous. But when certain things just feel like they got forgotten about, like the tombstone and the little girl with mutism in the cello case, there are certain things that just feel like, oh, I feel like that was something that actually should have been developed more.
Right. Like there could have been more to this little girl's story. Like, was she trying to warn Jessica and tell her like, hey, get out of here? But she just couldn't talk. So she appeared to be a ghost.
Yeah. And she really was the only other female on this island. And why was that? Where did she come from? Where's her family?
And she was wearing white.
She was wearing white, and she had been bitten also. So obviously she was confined to the island.
Yeah. Also, the kind of like not touching on the story of Abigail dying on her wedding day, or there not being any explanation as to like what happened.
Yeah.
Who turned Abigail? Was there another like vampire type figure or another ghoul?
Yeah.
Or is she cursed?
She drowned in the lake, but did somebody drown her, or was it an accident?
As I previously mentioned, I saw this on a list of top 100 vampire movies when we were doing research for our Vampire Showdown, which you can check out that episode as well, with guest Eric Hansen from Cradle to the Grave. Now watching it, I'm thinking to myself, it wasn't an explicit vampire tale, but there are certain things that are similar to vampires, like biting on the neck and now being like a ghoul.
Now, having seen it, I probably would not, I would stand by my decision, unknowingly or not, to not include this in the Vampire Desert Island episode, just because it didn't seem like a very clear vampire movie.
Wasn't the traditional vampire.
It wasn't.
But I still think it had elements of vampirism
It
some
did.
way. But also like another element of maybe like a cursed spirit or a cursed ghoul.
And the unraveling mind. Yeah.
And like a psychological element to it for sure.
Mm-hmm. And that's what usually when I see movies like this and I can't explain a good portion of it, I chalk it up to, well, it's purgatory. You can't explain purgatory, and it's all in your mind, and it's a nightmare, and you feel like you're going somewhere, but you're really just standing in place.
Yeah, and the whole "it's all in your mind" device for movies often feels like cheap or feels like it falls flat. But here I was okay with.
I was okay with it.
Yeah.
I think it's because it's from 1971. I think it definitely became hackneyed in 1990s thrillers. It was way overused in the 90s, but for the 70s, I'll give it a pass.
Well, the reason why I would give this a pass is because you hear her inner dialogue. So I thought that was great. So you're kind of there with Jessica, where it's like she is also not confident if what she sees is reality or a dream. And it's reinforced by that monologue that she has. Is this a nightmare is, am I imagining this? But it doesn't really matter. She's just so tired of being considered a crazy person, and that it doesn't matter to her.
It doesn't matter. And I feel like the human mind, the brain is very fragile. It's capable of doing so much, but it's very delicate. And I feel like we've all been in situations where we've either been exposed to extreme fatigue or memory lapses, and we question ourselves. Anything that happened in the past, you can't be 100% certain that you're remembering it the exact same way as it happened.
Yeah.
And I think she's constantly reminding herself of that her memory is not a valid indicator of what's real. And even sometimes her present being isn't a realistic indicator of what's real.
Yeah. I'm also thinking like other people telling her that what she sees is not true. The guys in the story, so like Duncan and Woody. Woody didn't do it as much, but Duncan, her husband, definitely did it, where he didn't have much faith in her. He kind of treated her as a child a little bit. Also was like so quick to jump ship as soon as she had any sort of issue. Let's send her off. Let's get her checked out. She needs to go back to her institution.
Yeah, he's like, go back to New York, go back to your doctor. I can't take it anymore. And that's when she gives her heartbreaking, leave me then.
Regardless of if she thought like, oh, it's all in my mind and my mind is possibly fragile, I was thinking more of like, she's being told that she's crazy and now she's doubting herself, and now she doesn't have the confidence to believe in what is real, what's not real. And since we hear her inner dialogue and we hear that she has a psychic connection with Emily and as well as maybe possibly other spirits, maybe she is a medium of some sort, or she is like a clairvoyant or something like that.
Did the ghost girl or the girl with mutism, did she also communicate with Jessica through telepathy? She
was like, this way, this way.
So she was like saying that in her mind, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
All right, but that was just Let's Scare Jessica to Death. Really fun movie. I loved this movie.
Yeah.
Aleece, what did you think of it?
I really enjoyed this movie, especially the first half. I really enjoyed the tension that was building until we got to our climax of the movie. And the score was so impactful. It almost felt like industrial at times.
Yeah.
And it seemed like perhaps it was a very simplistic score that perhaps could have inspired someone like John Carpenter.
It did have that effect because there was definitely a synth.
I think one of the running scenes, it reminded me of like a John Carpenter type Assault on Precinct 13 kind of style.
Yeah, actually one of the coolest tension building moments is the first time that Woody is crop dusting, or he's spraying pesticides on these
blasting
apples.
pesticides on everything.
And it's like a tense moment, and there's like this like whooshing sound, or like almost like a fan running. It sounds like a
ceiling fan, yeah.
It's like poof, poof, poof.
Yeah.
And they use that to build tension. I was like, oh, that's really cool. The gore in this film was a little cheesy. Or minimal or non-existent or non-impactful.
I would say the gore is pretty minimal. The only time we see gore is when we get to the town and all the dudes are no longer bandaged and we see their gashes.
Their gashes are quite lackluster.
At one point, it looked like one of the gashes was actually seeping pus or a gooiness.
That was the best one, but all the rest of them were very bad. So
minor.
Yeah, the gore wasn't there. I really thought that the underwater dead people was a really cool effect. Yeah, and I wish they would have done even more of it.
Mm-hmm. I like your idea of like letting a lot of bodies emerge.
Yeah, that would have been cool. Oh, do you have any tidbits? So now that we've watched this, we've kind of looked up a little bit of information about the movie.
Tony was very upset that the mole was obviously a mouse. And we looked up on IMDb that it indeed was a mouse.
It was obviously a mouse.
Who cares?
They're calling it a mole. It's clearly holding a mouse.
But that just made me think like, okay, what was the reason for them persisting on the illusion that it was a mole rather than a mouse? And all I could think is that the mole is a blind creature. And so we wanted her to find a creature that had some sort of sensory deprivation, because I feel like that's how she felt often. She felt like she was deprived of some sense or like of knowing what is real, when in fact, she probably actually had more senses.
You didn't think it was just Duncan's blind confidence mansplaining her? This is a mole. I know, I'm an expert in moles.
So it represented Duncan and his blind confidence. Exactly. The mole was Duncan. And it's the director John D. Hancock's first feature, and he was hired to be the director on Jaws 2 after people saw his lake scenes and bodies in the lake. Then he was fired. For some drama. Actually, there's a great episode on Jaws 2 from Manic Movie Monday. And she talks about all the drama and the details about the change in directors and whatnot. So check that out.
Let's go over our predictions. Some of my predictions were okay in this one, actually.
Yeah? You want to do yours first?
Sure. I'll
All
go
right,
over mine first. Okay. So in my predictions, my number one prediction was that Sam gets pulled underwater by a body and accidentally dies. And yeah, he
died.
Was fishing and he died.
We saw him dead.
Point for me.
Yeah.
My second one was Woody goes missing after Emily disses him and people think he left back to New York. That always happens in movies. I think that happened in The Burning.
Probably. Eddie thought that his lady left because she didn't want to get with him. And Eddie's like, oh no, she left.
And no,
she was
they're
dead.
That's a good device to kill a character and then have the other characters not really suspect that they're dead.
Prolong the story.
Prolong it, yeah. So that was not correct. Did not give myself a point for that. I did, however, get a point. I'm giving myself these points, by the way.
Good.
So if you disagree, you can argue it. But that Emily woos Duncan away from Jessica and then he dies.
Yeah. He does die, and she definitely woos him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think that's when she slashed him, when she wooed him.
Yeah.
Okay, then my next prediction. Jessica has to release the body from the underwater grave to let the spirit free and break whatever curse. That did not happen.
No. I guess that's more of like a 90s thing. You know, it's like, we got to release the curse, or like an 80s thing. But I kind of like that there really is no desire of this spirit or entity beyond. She just wants to have fun and do her own thing.
Yeah, she's a free spirit. She's a squatter.
A free spirit.
She's a squatter.
Does what she wants. She doesn't want
got a hippie
anything.
Vibe.
Yeah, doesn't want anything from Jessica. She just wants to do what she wants.
Yeah. So my last Whopper prediction, it was that Emily's a vampire. Yeah. And Father Bishop was like the main vampire that vamped the town because the town killed his daughter on her wedding day, and there's some revenge plot.
Just like get rid of all that last portion.
and then
she's a vampire.
And then the wounds from the townsfolk are from Emily, who has now turned them into these minions to do her bidding. Yeah. So I got 2/5 of that right. I broke that down into 5 parts.
No, you got half of it. Just say half.
2/5 of a point.
You got half.
I'll take half.
Vampire and killed the townsfolk.
Yeah. Forget all that stuff in the middle.
Yeah. Everything
half
about the dad, gone. Perfect.
So that is 2.5 points for me.
That's pretty good.
I'm pretty happy with that.
That's good. All right. Lady in the Lake attacks Sam, and we'll see him later with a bandage.
Yes.
Yeah, we did.
He didn't have the bandage, but he had the wound. So
dang, he had a wound.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Number 2, Emily is Abigail Bishop and is a vampire.
Yes.
Yeah, she is ish, or like succubus type thing. 3, Girl in the Cemetery is a ghost and one of Emily's victims.
No.
She wasn't a ghost.
She's wearing shoes.
But she was one of Emily's victims. She did die.
I guess that's half.
So that's half. You didn't want to give that to me, did you? She definitely died in that cello case.
Yeah, she did.
Who else would have killed her? 4, Woody and Duncan are fed upon and become part of the old dude gang.
Correct.
I mean, they don't become part of the gang. They're killed.
Well,
they are fed upon. Okay, half.
I don't know if she really feeds. She just kind of like slashes.
Like she bit them both.
Maybe
briefly.
she slashes first before feasting on the blood.
She definitely bit Duncan. And the Whopper, Jessica in the beginning is dead and is retelling the story of how she died.
That would have been cool.
That would have been cool, but no. So I got 3.
3 points. Wow.
Yeah, 2 and 2 halves. So
2 and 2 halves. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You win.
I win the Jessica to death by half a point. That was a close race. Our award ceremony, our coveted award ceremony. Tony, what element or character would you give the axe? What would you cut from the film?
Okay, I'm giving my axe award to the gore effects. But I liked the underwater dead people, but I thought the gashes and the bite marks or whatever you want to call those were pretty weak. So those are getting nixed, and next time they need to hire Tom Savini to do the effects.
Yeah. Nick the Nix.
Yes, Nick the Nix.
All right. I'm giving my axe to the little girl with mutism, or at least like develop her more. Like either get rid of
Like,
her.
what's her deal?
Yeah. Where did she come from? Why is she the only other female on this island?
Why is she wearing white and why is she wearing shoes?
And why was she also bitten? So I just feel like, what's the deal there? Develop that more or get rid of it. I liked my idea that she was a ghost and one of Emily's previous victims trying to warn Jessica. But no, that didn't really happen. All right, best intestines. What gets the best, saddest, or most gut-wrenching death?
My best intestines award, sadly, goes to nothing.
Nothing.
There weren't really any good deaths.
I have
but
one.
I gave a second place. Okay, this is my default best intestine. It goes to Duncan, who got hooked in the water.
Oh, that was cool. Yeah.
I don't think it was a good effect, but at least it was like something.
Yeah, we're like, okay, finally he's done.
Yeah, it was like any sort of kill, not just a cutaway and then like some gash.
Yeah. My best intestines go to the mole mouse.
Oh,
The poor little mole mouse. He didn't deserve it.
he didn't deserve it. Yeah.
He didn't deserve to be taken from his field in the first place. He just wanted to live his life in
That
the
is
field.
true, yeah.
And they got put in a jar with no air holes and then chopped.
Yeah, where's Pito when you need him?
Pedo?
PETA. Our next award is the first aid kit. Aleece, what gets your first aid kit award? That is for the character who was offed that gets to come back to life.
I give my first aid kit to the little girl with mutism because she was just dead and shoved into a cello case.
They're like done with this character. We don't
know.
have time to explain anything. Just kill her and put her in the case.
I would have preferred her just like nothing happened to her. She just stands off and looks on from the distance. And maybe we see her at the end just looking on from the distance. That would have been fine. But why is this the day that she finally gets to die? Why? It didn't make any sense. So yeah, I'm giving it to little girl. What are you giving your first
I
aid kit
almost
to?
gave it to the little girl, but I ended up giving it to Jessica. But then I have the note, like, did she die? Did she escape? Because she did get slashed or she did get bit. We clearly saw blood on her neck and it seemed like she's trapped on this island. So I think she's technically dead or undead.
Yeah.
And she's just like tired. She's like, I can't escape.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm imagining this. I'm just like tired. I'm just going to sleep here on this boat.
So first aid kit for you means Jessica gets to go on the ferry and live her best life.
She gets to escape. Yeah. She gets to swim off and
Go back to New York, not go to the doctor because she doesn't need one.
Yeah.
But gets to be a counselor or like a pep talker for other people who are being gaslit.
Yeah, high-powered businesswoman.
Yeah.
In the next scene, she's just like
She's
CEO.
going to own a pet shop with a bunch of mole mice.
She's like, this is an actual mole. These are moles. That other one was a fucking mouse.
She didn't care. She accepts all kinds. All right, second kidney. What character, living or dead, would you have come back in a sequel or spinoff?
I'm going to give my second kidney award to none other than Emily. She gets a prequel. Who turned her? What happened with her? What's her deal?
Who turned her?
Yeah.
I want to know what her deal is.
She was
too.
a very interesting character. I thought like the actor who played Emily did just like such a good job of looking like the seductress. You know, there's a dangerous side to this person.
She has a very disarming smile. The way she smiled at Woody and Jessica, it's just like, I could stab you at any moment or make out with you.
Exactly.
You don't know
Yeah,
which
that's the
one.
thing. It's like, you know, sometimes when you meet someone and you know there's something dangerous about them, but so you're like trying to be nice the whole time. You're like, ha 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 ha.
But then they're
We're
funny.
friends, right? And then if you do like one wrong move, they're gonna flip and they're gonna stab your ass.
Snap you.
So she was very good at portraying that sort of character.
But
And-
you want her to like you. And if you say something funny and she goes, ha ha ha, you're like, oh, good, I made her laugh.
But it really came out in that scene in the lake when she was attempting to drown Jessica.
Yeah. And she was having such a whale of a time, too. She's like,
You're like, oh, okay, this is really who she is. It's
Yeah.
like, she's not the nice squatter. She's like slightly dangerous.
is that how she died? Was somebody else having a great time trying to drown her? And then she drowned.
Oh, interesting.
She's paying it forward. Interesting.
She just pays it forward. Yeah.
Mine goes to Jessica because I would actually like Jessica to get off this island and see her in the future. And maybe she's aware of her mental differences and she uses them as strengths. So she gets to become a high-powered medium in New York somewhere.
Oh.
And all the voices that she hears, she embraces them and she's able to parse out which ones are malevolent and which ones are benevolent. And she can use them for her career.
High-powered CEO.
Medium.
So that takes us to our Silver Gut Award, and that is the award for the second best element of the film. And that could be any element.
You know, I give my Silver Gut to the overall sound and score.
Ah.
So I want to give it to like all the sound elements that includes the score because I feel like there are a lot of interesting tricks that were made with making the sounds distorted or seeming far away or blending them with other sounds.
Or the whispers.
The whispers. I loved all the whispers from Emily Abigail. They're so unsettling. So the overall sound and soundtrack of the film.
Very nice. I gave my Silver Gut Award also to the score, which was done by Orville Stober. And a little tidbit here, he was paid in a brand new guitar to do the score.
Like, that's it?
Yeah.
That's all he got?
According to IMDb.
Oh, man.
So,
I hope he got more than that.
That's what he got.
Well, he did a great job. Good job, Orville Stober.
He did work on other John Hancock films. There's one called Bang the Drum Slowly or something like that.
Okay, so if this was both of their first feature films, then maybe neither one of them really had the means to say no or provide the other person with a lot of money for doing the project.
Yeah.
So their payment was hiring them for the next few projects.
Yeah, so I think he worked on a couple other films.
That's
with
worth it then.
This
That's
guy.
pretty good.
And last we have our coveted Golden Gut Award. Aleece, what in Let's Scare Jessica to Death is getting your Golden Gut Award?
I'm giving my Golden Gut Award to Zora Lampert, who played Jessica. I loved her performance so much. She did a fantastic, nuanced job throughout the entire film. It was very naturalistic, as I said before. And that scene with her in the bedroom with her husband, where she's just crying to the ceiling, like begging him almost like, just leave me. And it was so heartbreaking. She did a fantastic job. And that's why I want to see her in a sequel. Anyway, she gets my Golden Gut at least.
All right. She gets my Golden Gut Award as well.
Nice.
Yes. Wow. Okay. We agreed on a lot of the same things.
Wow, we did actually agree on both of those, like the silver and the golden mostly.
Well, I mean, she really did carry the movie.
Yeah.
And it is about Jessica.
Yeah.
The whole movie is about Jessica.
all
So
Jessica.
it worked really because she worked.
Moving on to our overall blockbuster rating, we're almost done for this episode. Tony, does this movie get your staff pick? Is it a main shelfer? Is it a dollar rental, a bargain bin buy and keep, or a back alley dumpster?
I am giving this a staff pick. And I am going to put it under my recommendations for cult classics or hidden gems,
Ooh, I
70s
like that.
horror, all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
I would definitely put it in a staff pick rotation for, 70s horror classics.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed this one. I'm glad that I finally seen it. And I thought it was very unique.
Indeed. Agreed.
Indeed. Agreed.
Indeed. Same for me, double.
Same for me, double. All right.
And then lastly, we did not discuss this previously, but our letterboxd rating, what would you give this?
I'm giving it a 4.
Nice. I'm giving it a 4 also.
All right.
Very solid
all right.
4. Yeah, there were just a couple things that kept it from being higher. And those things that we mentioned before, like the little girl just all of a sudden being dead. Like, why? She lived so long on this island by herself, seemingly, and now she's dead.
Yeah. Some of the writing points or some of the things they touched upon that were not explained, this would be the case for a movie where it's like, maybe it might be good to explain that a little bit.
Yeah.
I usually don't like that in movies, but in this
Exactly.
one, they just kind of like drop some things.
Yeah, there are many movies where I don't mind the ambiguous ending. But yeah, a couple of those things, it seemed like it was rushed. Like Duncan's death seemed a bit rushed. And little girl in the cello case seemed a bit rushed. Concluding thoughts. Trust your gut, Jessica. It might be in your head, but also maybe you have more mental powers than Duncan and Woody could possibly imagine.
I'm going to say never trust a squatter. As nice as they may seem, they're always going to have that edge.
They might be out for themselves, most likely, and you don't know them. I wouldn't
Be
do
this
it.
a lesson, as in many a 70s film, which scared subsequent generations out of doing things like hitchhiking, like befriending squatters and inviting them to live in your house after knowing them for maybe less than 24 hours.
Not locking your doors. Many a lesson.
All of those things.
Every lesson that we could learn from the 70s movies. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Let's Scare Jessica to Death. Taught me
Yeah.
many a lesson. All right, that about does it for Let's Scare Jessica to Death.
And if you like what you've heard today, please like, subscribe, give us a rating, give us a lovely review. That would be nice.
Yep, you can find us on Instagram, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, anywhere where you get your podcasts. We are
Letterboxd.
most likely there.
Letterbox at Gutted Horror.
Yep.
Or you can email us at guttedhorrorpodcast@gmail.com.
All right, thank you so much for listening and or watching.
Ooh, and give those indie horrors that we talked about earlier a watch, like Happy Ending and Halloween Feast and A Prelude to Fear. Give them a whirl.
Yeah, support your indie horror scene and support indie horror movies.
And if you've seen a lovely indie horror gem that you think everyone should see, then message us. Let us know. What is it?
if you have made an indie horror film, you can reach out to us and we will watch your film and we will give you a shout out in our next episode as well.
Cool. Well, thank you for watching and or listening. This has been another episode of next episode's our 100th episode.
Ooh, we did not mention that. So yes, this is our 99th episode and the next episode will be our 100th anniversary episode.
So stay tuned for fun tidbits and questions that we will answer from listeners and fellow podcasters and a bunch of friends.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun stuff planned and we have a lot of fun stuff planned for the future of this podcast.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for watching and or listening. This has been another episode of
Got it.